How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the big thing. It's Monday. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. We're live. And man, the Golden Globes were live last night. And I don't usually watch the award shows anymore. I find them kind of lame for the most part. I will say that the majority of the show kind of moved like this, which I like. There were some presenters that were just like, what are you doing? Just stop. And there's one guy that was like chewing gum. Like, what are you doing? You chewing gum while you're presenting an award? Show a little. But the talk really was of comedian Jo Koy, who was hired, I guess, 2-3 weeks ago, and that was one of his main excuses when in his monologue. And a lot of people are saying that that was one of the worst hosting jobs I've ever seen. We're going to talk about whether or not we think it was. He went after Taylor Swift. That didn't seem too smart, because all of the Swifties are coming after him left and right. So we'll discuss that. And we'll see, was it really that bad as everyone else was saying? And then the awards went down. And usually, a lot of people shit on the Golden Globes, and rightfully so, I think, a lot of times. But they are an indication a lot of what's going to happen in the Academy Awards. And is that there were some surprises, okay, we thought that could happen, but it didn't. So we'll discuss if that leads into what potential the upcoming award shows, if they're going to see the kind of repeat performances, or there going to be some other wins in other places before we get to the Academy Awards. Outside of the awards stuff, Michael Mann was talking about Heat 2, and I love Heat. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And Heat 2, apparently, which I still have the book. I got to read that book before the movie. And he's talking about shooting it on film. Last couple of movies he's done has been digital. I think since Ali, maybe it's been digital. So we'll talk about whether we think it's a good move, bad move, doesn't matter, whatever. And then speaking of directors, man, you got our Denis Villeneuve, who might be one of the best directors, if not Nolan. I still think Nolan right now is the best, but Denis Villeneuve's up there. And he is talking about potentially he finished the script for Dune 3. So is that the one he's going to definitely direct? And then lastly, Coleman Domingo has been all over the place recently with as far as press goes. And he's hot ticket right now. Well, he'd been rumored to play Kang, taking over for Jonathan Majors. He addresses it, and we'll talk about that. So it's me and John Roca here today. We will be taking your questions, as we always do. So if you want to fire in the super chats, what we do here is we go through all the topics. And then after the topics, you can submit them throughout the duration of the show, and we will stay here until each and every one is answered. Promise. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. We are approaching 100 and what are we, 13? We're getting close to 113,000. And we want to get to 200,000, so we need you to help us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. It is the big thing. Me, John Roca, we're live. Let's do it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the big thing. It's myself, John Roca. We are live. What up, Johnny? How are you doing?
Good, man. What about a night version called The Big Thang? Is that too far? Is that too far? Okay, fine.
I'll let you go now. All right. So no, it's good to throw let's do that not on the air though. Okay, not on the air. So I watched this show last night. It was the first award show that I watched in a bit. I will say it moved, and I don't know if it just moved because I was fast forwarding. But yeah. I don't watch speeches anymore. I will not do it. The only speech I really watched was Stephen Young. I watched Stephen Young. I thought he had a great speech. I loved his speech. Yeah. It was, here I go. I'm up there. Thank you so much. I have a message about, about feeling accepted, loved. I love the people here. Thank you to my loved ones. Thank you to people who helped me. I'm out. That's it. That should be every speech. Every speech. You want to give me a whole political diatribe? Do it on Twitter. Don't do it at an award show. That's not why I'm here. And so someone who did that well, but was also part of everything that the performance was, and didn't make me feel like it was like, oh, I'm on the outside, was Lily Gladstone.
Yeah,
I did
she
watch
was
hers
great.
also. She
Yeah.
was great speech also.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a lot of everything. I mean, there were a few. Who's the guy chewing gum?
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know why that person was chewing gum. What is
What are
that?
you doing? You're so cool. You can't spit your gum up. If you're that cool, take one of your minions and stick your gum in their hand,
Right.
and then say, "I'll be right back. Hold my gum."
Yeah.
What are you doing? Chewing gum for 2 performances or awards is horrible.
Yeah. Made no sense. Made no sense.
Yeah, we'll get into the winners and all that stuff, but the big talk of the town was Jo Koy. What did you think of his performance?
Listen, you know me, and you know how I feel about representation. So it was nice to have a Filipino host, and I like Jo Koy. I've liked his specials. I think he's a funny guy. You know, it's very public Chelsea Handler relationship and then breakup and whatever. So, but Joe has been successful on Netflix, and though the Filipino community like him, I think Easter Sunday was that film that he had.
Oh, right.
Which
And
was
it's
fine.
no,
Yeah,
I heard
it was okay. It was
farts.
Yeah, it's a middling comedy. But like, so I was cheering for the guy. But then when it started, dude, you have to be honest. And as an analyst, no matter how much I like representation, I also got to be honest and judge the product. And when you judge the product, it was wanting on so many levels. The jokes fell flat. You could tell he was nervous. And I think he did the cardinal mistake. You're not Ricky Gervais. People don't know you.
Right.
So walk out there, introduce yourself, talk about where you're from, talk about what and on, which he did later, but he should have done it to start off the show. Then start leaning into certain people and making certain jokes. Throwing your writers under the bus? What the fuck was the logic in that?
It was so amateur.
Yeah.
It reminded me, and he's not. And
He's not.
I'll preface it by saying he's I know a lot. I never met Joe. I know a lot of people who know him and speak the world of him.
Yeah. It was a nice guy.
Everyone from friends that are very close with him, and I've never met him. But what I will say, and I've seen stuff of his that's very funny. The way that he conducted that last night, if I didn't know who he was, I'd be like, that was amateur hour, because like what he did, as you said, like it reminds me of like when you're a thing that always makes me like cringe when I'm watching, newer comedians and they don't know better. It's like if they tell a joke and they go, "That's the joke, guys. Why isn't anyone laughing?" It's like, what are you doing? You're a professional comedian, and you're like, "Oh, what do you expect? I got this gig 3 weeks ago."
Yeah.
And like, I didn't write that one. Some other guy did. It's like, dude, what are you doing? It's like, just own it. And like you said, come out there and say, "Look, guys, I'm here and there." Like, don't be abrasive, because you haven't earned that in that circle yet.
Right.
You haven't earned that.
Yeah.
You've earned it. You've earned it at to your fans that come to pay you to see you at a big event.
Yeah.
Like they know you, so they're going to pay you to do that. And there are certain times like they're there to see you. You can't assume that people are like, "Oh, Jo Koy is hosting."
Right.
A lot of people in that room, a lot of people watching the TV, like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah. I never met him in circles. That's where Ricky got away with it, because Ricky had done shows. The Office was a massive hit, and he was a stand-up. So when he walked out there, that's a different approach. And I think Joe just absolutely shit the bed. And some of these jokes he decided to tell, you're right, Christian, the familiarity that he did not have with these subjects of the joke made it look mean, as opposed to like a roast, right? It looked mean-spirited rather than a roast.
It did.
And I think that was a massive mistake on his part.
Massive mistake, especially if you're not friendly with these people already, and you say to them, because if you're brand new to it, because this could have been something massive for him.
Yeah,
this could have been massive for him, because and the funny thing is, was the Taylor Swift joke really bad? Not really.
No, I don't think it was bad.
It wasn't really, but she did not like it.
No,
she did not like it, and that was it. That's all she wrote. So when she's doing that sip of the drink, going, "No, you're done." Yeah. Now, if she would have smiled, if she would have laughed, he probably would have gotten less of the shit from the Swifties, because she would have been like, "Oh, I'm in on it. I'm in on it. That's funny. That's funny." But not something she wanted to even be brought up, and he did not earn that from. Kimmel does it. He does it in a different way. He brings it up. You know what? I'll tell you, after watching the entire thing, who should have hosted that? After watching what I saw last night?
Who?
Jim Gaffigan.
Oh, Gaffigan would have been great. He was there, I think,
Yeah,
last night.
well,
Yeah,
he did it. He did a thing. He
yeah,
did
that's
it.
right.
He came out. He did. And what did he say? He said something. He made some kind of insult, but then under his breath, he goes, "Yeah, I meant that." And the way that he did it, he was so good, and he's
Right.
just so seasoned. Jim Gaffigan would have been incredible to do it, and I think
Great
that's what's that?
It's a great suggestion. Yeah, I like that.
He would have been great. And the funniest bit of the night was Kristen Wiig and Farrell.
Yeah, yeah.
That stupid dancing was incredible. Incredible. Lightened up the moon. You just saw like the difference in tone. People were just like, yeah, this isn't working, Joe.
Yeah.
Move it. Like and the thing he did with Gosling didn't work.
Nope.
The De Niro thing, I forgot. I thought I knew that Pacino had a kid at 80. I forgot that that De Niro even had one.
Yeah, they're in competition forever with each other.
Right, having babies at 80. And De Niro laughed at that one,
Yeah,
though.
he did. He laughed.
Yeah, he laughed at that one, though. But it just wasn't great. And he was more abrasive.
Yeah.
He was more abrasive than I think he should have been in a situation like that. And by the way, who was nominating the stand-up comedy specials?
Oh, yeah, that's been a thing since they announced those nominations. Nobody believes that any of these people actually saw these specials, and nobody believes these are the actual best stand-up specials of the year. It was
I can tell you that they're not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I can tell you that they're not. I was looking at a few of them that I had seen over the course of the year that I was like that were way funnier than like what they didn't get any recognition, or maybe we found some of the clips that I saw also, but some of the stuff I'm like, come on, who's nominating this? It's like so. And then the other a weird award one was the box office achievement one.
I'm confused by that one. Don't you win if you got the most amount of money, Christian? So why are there even nominees? And why were they surprised? Why were Greta and Margot like, oh my God, we won?
We made money. We made money. What?
It was weird.
I didn't know that. I had no idea we made money. It's like, wait. And they didn't explain how that worked. And then it was like, because there were smaller movies in that list that was probably made for less money that made a profit.
Right.
But does then the people who are on the committee then say, okay, out of these big blockbuster movies, this box office achievement, because Mission Impossible was in there, and that movie lost money.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
broke even. It didn't. So, but is it box office or cinematic achievement? Like, how does that work? How do they go? Put that one in there.
Yeah, it's a very nebulous category. That's for sure. Yeah.
Might as well just put the Amy Schumer special in there. Because we're throwing around, just anybody can get nominated for whatever it is.
Yeah.
So there were things inside of it that I was like, I don't know. I thought the Ray Romano thing was funny.
I like Ray. Yeah, it was good.
I think he did with Kerry Russell was funny, but and I don't know. To me, the presentations were moving quicker, and I think also because for the most part, I'd seen I think almost every single movie that was nominated, most of them. So watching them and seeing like were there any big surprises for you? There's one for me.
Not really. Maybe Kieran winning for Succession.
I thought
because I thought the other nominees were just as strong, and I thought that I always see that show as an ensemble show, so I don't necessarily always think like one should stand out above the other. Do you know what I'm saying? So that was a little bit of a surprise for me, but I thought his speech was hilarious, and telling Pedro to go suck it, I thought was funny as hell.
I didn't watch his speech.
Okay, yeah, it was very funny. But yeah, no, there wasn't a lot of big surprises. I see critics all over the place saying it's Bradley Cooper. To me, it's always been Giamatti and Cillian. Those are the top two for best actor. So for me, I found no surprises in that. Lily winning, no surprise.
I was a little shocked by that one. It wasn't the main one that I was shocked at, but I was a little shocked that because I told my wife, because we were both like, well, Carey Mulligan's going to win this. And then she hasn't seen all of Killers of the Flower Moon yet. And she's like, was she really good? And I said, before the Carey Mulligan performance, I was like, Lily's got it in the bag.
Yes, I agree.
So I could see them trading awards back and forth.
Yeah.
The different ones. I could see Carey Mulligan winning the Oscar. I could still see Lily Gladstone winning the Oscar. Right. So I could see that going back and forth. The one that shocked me was animated. I thought it was Spider-Man. I thought it was going to be Spider-Man. I thought that, especially for the Golden Globes, I thought it was going to be Spider-Man.
Right.
I also haven't seen The Boy and the Heron. I just know that people have been like, yeah, it's good. It's good Miyazaki film, but it's good. But everybody I talked to raves about, Spider-Man.
Yeah. I wasn't surprised by that because it's an international body that votes, and Miyazaki probably appeals more to that angle.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Spider-Verse at the Oscars, no doubt, because that's more of American or domestic voters. So I wasn't surprised by and I like Wind in the Hair, and I thought it was a really good film for a Miyazaki film, which is always great start, a little bit weird in the middle, and then a good ending. And I thought this one is one of his best, and so I wasn't surprised that it won. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Going
back to Jo Koy real quick, because I will say I thought Jo Koy was better than Gerard Carmichael.
Jared was way out of his league for that one. Well, because Joe has played stadiums, man. Joe knows how to play intimate rooms and stadiums, and whereas Jared is still kind of in that middle area.
Jared was actually really good in Poor Things, by the way. Jared was more so where or Gerard, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, Gerard. Yeah, Gerard. Sorry.
Gerard Carmichael. He was. I thought not. The difference was he wasn't really controversial, and he said some things that really mattered, and and he had some good points socially of the stuff that he was doing, and he didn't really offend anybody. So I don't think people were going after him. But as far as presentation, at least like I felt he was way more entertaining than Gerard Carmichael. I thought that Gerard Carmichael was boring. But I thought Jo Koy, even though, and he was just it was a lot, and he was just kind of like this, but you weren't bored by him. You're just like, whoa, dude, slow down, stop saying that. But I don't know either way. But the question with Jo Koy, do you think that Jo Koy it's going to hurt his career at all?
I don't think it's going to hurt his career with his base, right? Like he's people know what kind of comedy they're going to, and I saw a lot of Filipinos today, like defending him and saying first through the door, doesn't matter representation. So his base is going to be fine and he's going to make his money. But as you said earlier, this was a chance for him to leap into mainstream audiences' eyes and possibly secure himself like bigger roles and bigger films, both dramatic and comedy. Cause I think the guy can do drama as well, but it kind of fell apart now. And so he's going to have to take the hit on this for a little bit and then eventually work his way back up again into those eyes. But I thought he blew a big opportunity here to get even more successful.
Yeah, he's it's like people forget real quick. He's I think, like as you said, I think when it comes to stand-up comedy, it's the people, his fans aren't gonna.
No,
it wasn't like, oh, I used to be a fan of him, gone. It was more like, who is this guy? I'm not gonna be a fan. He didn't win any new fans, but I don't think he lost any old ones.
No, exactly.
Is what it turns out to be.
So some of his jokes did land. They just didn't all land.
Right. As you mentioned, I just really couldn't believe and didn't like that when a joke didn't land. He's like, oh, that was that guy wrote that. First of all, why are you telling people that you're not? What about the ones that are funny?
Yeah.
Now we go, did he write that? Or is it maybe he didn't write that one? He's like, no, the ones you're laughing at is the ones I wrote. Don't do that.
Yeah, I know.
What are you doing?
Slightly Bush League, isn't it?
It's not slightly. It's not, and it's so surprising because he's like so seasoned. He's not a guy that they found at like an open mic or like a guy that's been doing comedy for 2 years. This is a professional guy who sells out rooms and does Netflix specials. Like, it was very bizarre.
Let me ask you this: Are you like? Don't you think it's weird that people don't want to host these things? I would kill to host the Golden Globes or an Oscars. I would not. I would love to do it.
No.
I don't understand people who are. Yeah, tell me why you think it wouldn't be a great
thankless job. It's an absolute thankless job. It's like the first thing I will say is, the other thing that I was like, come on, don't say that. You got hired at the end of December.
Yeah.
So if it's your biggest gig ever, that's 3 weeks to write jokes, and that's 3 weeks to lock yourself in. And so you even said, I didn't watch any of these movies, and I locked myself in and watched it. You have 3 weeks now, whatever it is, it should be the only thing that you're working on. You should not take any more gigs. You should do nothing. You should just write the best monologue. Like that monologue did not seem like it was worked on at all. It seemed like, okay, I'll give me your jokes. I'll say that. Sure. No, come out with the best stuff possible. If this is your like, Ricky Gervais, what the hell does he care? He didn't even show up to win last night. He doesn't care. Like Ricky Gervais doesn't care. When he's doing this, because he's doing it because, okay, you're hiring me to do this, right?
Yeah. You know what you're gonna get.
You know what you're gonna get, and that's why he's the best at it. And I was hoping that he was gonna come back to do it. I just was scared the hell about what he's gonna say. But he didn't work on it. He didn't do. But No, I think that the Oscars, all these jobs are a thankless job because of the induction of social media. To be completely honest with you, like you can't win. Comedians can't be comedians in general these days. A lot of times because people are going to get offended by everything. They really do. Like you can. There's certain things you can't say that people say you can't say, and it's like when you walk into comedy, go, dude, if there was a freaking camera on in the Comedy Store when I was there back in, from like 2002 to like 2007, 2008, the whole club would have been shut down.
Yeah.
The stuff that was going on there. I saw a guy get blown on stage. Like,
wow.
We talked about it, but it's like crazy stuff had happened. That one maybe you do get canceled for, but the other stuff, like as far as like, but there's things going on. There were things that people would say, and comedians would test things out and try stuff, and it's like it. Yeah, right. Today you get out there and then you just get nailed on Twitter no matter what, because like you don't think the stuff that's going on with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Kimmel's first thing, people going to nail him for on Twitter. He's going to be all these different things, and he's going to get hit from one side of the aisle, and then someone else. You can't win. You just can't win those jobs, and it's like if you're a new comedian though, and you can really work, like this is what I'm talking about. Joe Koy. He's not a new comedian, but he's not a spotlight comedian.
Right.
And if you have that opportunity like he did, you should treat it like it's a hour special, and that you are coming and firing.
And I also think the mistake he made last night, because I've seen a lot of Joe Koy specials. He's not a naturally mean guy. But Gervais is. So it makes sense for Gervais to go down the roast side of comedy. Joe didn't. So for him choosing to take these shots, I thought was a massive mistake. He could have come off as just an overall funny guy who loves movies and yes, he'd have gotten killed for being soft or whatever, but you wouldn't have lost fans. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe not.
You would have maybe elevated, and people are like, oh, I want to work with this guy, or I want this guy on my thing. And sometimes that's the smarter move. You don't always have to tear it down. And so I think that's where it felt unnatural watching him do that. And I was like, oh,
it's like I said last week, dude, just show me through your product. You don't have to tell me anything else. Just show me through your product. Be funny. Do what you're going to do. Let me judge it on the actual jokes itself. And don't throw your writers under the bus. Don't say I got this job last week. Don't do it. Just write funny stuff and do it. If you have it in you, which he does.
Yeah.
You're right. He should have come out with that likable stuff that he does, thrown some of his brand wasn't in there.
No,
his brand. No. He should have done more stuff where there's certain things that he does. He should have thrown some of his core into that performance and show so people that what got him there. The stuff he did last night did not get him there.
Right.
Show me the stuff that got you there, and that's what would have worked with the audience to go, oh, who the hell's this guy?
Right.
But nonetheless, what did you guys think, man? Did you guys think it was terrible? Did you think that it's over? You ever gonna watch Joe Koy again? Should he ever host anything again? Make sure you guys comment. Let us know for sure. And as far as the awards go, Oppenheimer will probably win Best Picture. I think so, and for the Oscars, I think it should. I'm glad that both Downey and although I was secretly hoping Ruffalo, but I also gave a fist pump when Downey won. And I used to, his wife was my boss for many years.
Oh, really? I hear she's fantastic.
She's awesome, Susan, and she's come to comedy shows all the time. And she has not aged a bit. I mean, I worked for 20 years ago. She looks exactly the same.
She looks as beautiful. Yeah, I agree. She's a beautiful woman.
And she was always pretty great to me. So So yeah, it was good to see him win. There were there weren't a lot of people, minus again, I didn't see Boy and the Heron, so I didn't know it well enough to say, oh, it shouldn't have won. I hate when people do that. Like my mother-in-law is the queen of it. Like that movie shouldn't have won. Why, did you see it? No. How do you know?
You just described half of Twitter, man.
How do you know? How do you know? Because my wife does not do that, but she asks questions, right? When Anatomy of a Fall won a couple different things. I think it was I can't remember what it was. It the screenplay? I don't remember, whatever it was. Yeah. And she goes, what screenplay?
Screenplay.
She goes, really? Was it that good? I said it was awesome. I could see it. I could see it when so anyway, I think there's gonna be a lot. I'm very curious what's gonna happen especially as you get the SAG Awards, the Critics' Choice Awards, and then obviously the Oscars. I am curious to how this is going to play because I have seen the majority of these movies. I wonder how much of the general audience has seen a lot of them, if any.
Yeah,
not
that's
any.
why I think Anatomy of Fall has a hard road ahead of itself to.
It'll win foreign language film.
Probably, yeah, but a lot of people, and you included, I'm sure, Sandra Huller's performance is incredible. So
She's great.
It's just like it's a real tough year when you look at actresses. And,
for sure.
You talk about Carrie, like Carrie's. I have come around on Carrie. Like it was Lily, and then I saw Carrie, and I'm like, you know what? Because Scorsese drugs Lily for the last hour of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's where Carrie Mulligan wins by a hair, because I think you have her through the entire film doing incredible amount of stuff, and I think Scorsese kind of hurts Lily a little bit by drugging her up in that movie, and I think that was
they kind of sidelines her a little bit at the end. Yeah, it's true.
I mean, she's performing the drugging up well, but it removes her having confrontations with.
I get it, and the pushback, not pushback, but I guess an argument. An argument to be like, well, Anne Hathaway won for a song.
Yeah, that was best supporting.
But she still won for a song over performances that were way longer that did more. And Lily Gladstone certainly did more than just a song.
100%.
She did a lot. Yeah. And like I said, she was my pick before Carrie Mulligan. And I didn't think anything was gonna. And I think it was Carrie. Oh yeah, and Emma Stone, which I thought was pretty good. It
was great.
But my wife was also, as I sat there, I go, look what's nominated for comedy. And then May December pops up. She's like, what? Even the clip that they showed for May December comedy. And he's like, yeah, she seduced him when he was 12. And he's like, yeah, I was depressed for 3 years. And it's like, how is that a comedy? What are you doing? How's that a comedy? I was like, The Martian, way more of a comedy than that.
Speaking of the Comedy Store, no, it just made no sense at all. But I did like DeBecki winning over Meryl Streep. I will say I like that because I liked her as Princess Diana.
Everyone says she was great. My dad called me and said, "You seen this season of Crown?
Really?
Whoever played Diana was amazing."
Yeah, DeBecki was great.
Yeah. So here she's really, really good. All right, so everybody, give me your thoughts. Let me know. I do see as I see the questions coming in. The way it works is we will see all the super chats come in, and at the end of all of our topics, we will go through each and every one of them. So send them in now, and I will collect them towards the end of the show and make sure that we talk about them.
There's only
what's that?
There's only a few of them, guys. Don't make me do this.
Don't do it. But what I will say,
my shirt open.
No, don't do that. But what I will tell people though is that I've talked about this many times, John, and I want to talk about it with you.
Yeah.
So Trade Coffee is one of my favorite sponsors that we have. I love Trade Coffee. I love them so much. The way that it works is that you have them on. People don't know how the sponsorships work, but you have them on, and people are like, well, you have a sponsor, Yeah, but you need people to get them, and you telling people about good stuff that they are getting. And Trade Coffee no one's gotten anything yet from Trade Coffee. And I'm hoping that they do, because I want Trade Coffee to come back. Trade Coffee, it's a one. I tell people you got to get Trade Coffee because it's so delicious. I absolutely love them. I love them, and I'll tell you about them because Trade Coffee, they're going to help you do more in 2024, because you want Trade if you want to hit the ground running with the New Year's goals. And if you didn't know what it is, I've talked about it many times over. And John, I told you about it before. It's a subscription service.
Yeah.
And what it does is it sources the best coffee across the country and it brings it to your doorstep. They have built relationships with over 55 local roasters so you can enjoy their craft from the comfort of your own home. And there's multiple ways to experience coffee with Trade. You got to sign up though. Sign up for a subscription or try one of their starter packs. You do it today. So this is the one. I love this one here. I'm going to be doing this. They sent this one again to me. Where is it? This is the Flores Bellas. I love that it's like it's getting ready. I'm like it's set up because I just finished the prosciutto and
nice,
the Brazilian brand, and it's really, really delicious stuff. And I every time it comes, it smells delicious. It's like the flavor of it. There's like a hazelnut one that I love, and I like it a little bit more of the flavor. I like dark coffee also. I love the convenience of the delivery. So if you guys want to jumpstart it this year, just sign up to a Trade subscription, and they're offering one free bag with select subscription plans when you got to visit drinktrade.com/big thing. Drinktrade.com/big thing for a free bag with select subscription plans.
Yeah.
And yeah, the other one I was telling you about, like, so do you what do you do in the morning? Like when you for you, do you coffee? What do you do?
Yeah, no, the Lady Outlaw does the coffee. She loves the
Okay.
coffee. Yeah, I always get her, but I'll have occasionally like a mocha or a latte, just to kind of get me going. And so, yeah, I'll do that coffee for
I
sure.
got something to combine it though. I got
Yeah.
something else.
What's
I
that?
got
Oh,
AG1.
nice.
AG1. Have you tried AG1?
No, what is this? Tell me.
You really not know about AG1?
I don't.
Oh, well, you need to. The AG1 is the best. I've been doing it forever because you
Okay.
taking care of health. It's not always easy, but it should be simple. And I've been using it now, John, for like the last 2 years.
Wow.
I drink it every day. No exception. It's especially like right. And sometimes I'll do, like when I go on the road when we were doing the big thing shows and even stand-up comedy, like right beforehand, it's just a scoop. It's mixed in water once a day, and you get energized, you're strong, you're ready. You take it one day because every serving of AG1, it gives you that dose of vitamins. It's like I can't do 80. You know, people do like 87 vitamins throughout the day.
Yeah.
I do like it's all one. It's all mixed in one thing. You put it in a water bottle, you shake it up, and that's it. I'll drink it right in the morning, and that's when it's recommended actually for optional, so for optimal nutrient absorption. And so I'll fill up, like I have like a zoo cup that I got,
Yeah.
and I shake it up in the zoo cup with yeah, that's it. And I
That's
shake it
nice.
around. Yeah, that's it. Extra cold water, one scoop of AG1. You shake it up. I'm ready to go. Because I can't recommend this enough, John. I'm telling you, it's like it'll elevate your health. You'll feel better. It's AG1, and I partnered with them for so long because of it. And so if you guys want to take ownership of your health, you start with AG1. You try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2, and you get 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. But you got to go to drinkag1.com/big thing. That's drinkag1.com/big thing.
Wow.
They're great. They're really great. I love them. We've been with them forever.
That's awesome.
So yeah, let's get to some of this other stuff, man. We got some other stuff. So they said, what's the other one? Yeah, I see Mike Joyce just put in a super chat. I will get to all of those at the end. I promise. Let's get to the first story of the day, and I want to get to the where is it? The one that I wanted to talk to you most about, John, outside of was this Dune 3 thing, right?
Yeah.
Let me. Oh, did I not? I didn't add my pictures, John. I didn't add my pictures.
Oh no.
I'll add my pictures. Hold on. But we'll talk about the story itself, and there was a lot of rumors about this, like whether or not he was going to even do Dune 3.
Yeah.
Like no one knew whether he was going to do it because they said he was working on it, but he wasn't sure if it was going to go. And now there's some new stuff. There's some new stuff that they're talking about. And here is the actual story itself. Okay, so this is coming from Dark Horizons. Dark Horizons, and basically what they say here is that Dune Messiah could be Denis Villeneuve's next film.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you not hear this yet?
That's incredible to hear that, man.
Okay, so this is from Garth Franklin over at Dark Horizons. They say, short of Dune Part 2 flopping, it appears more and more likely that Denis Villeneuve will close out Dune as a trilogy with an adaptation of Dune Messiah to serve as the third film. At last report a month ago, Villeneuve confirmed at a press conference in South Korea that he's almost finished writing the script. The screenplay is almost finished, but is not finished. It will take a little time. He also added that he wasn't sure he wasn't sure when he would tackle the film and was looking at other projects outside of this franchise to try. He's been linked with both a Cleopatra political thriller style film and an Eric Roth penned sci-fi film rumored to be a rendezvous with Rama adaptation. Cut to this week, and speaking with Cine 21, Villeneuve says he doesn't really know what is next for him and very well could end up being Dune Messiah. He says, I'm working on 4 different screenplays. I know that Dune Messiah will be one of them. I don't know if it will be the next or the second next. My job was to try to keep the spirit of Frank Herbert alive as much as possible. The whole meaning of Dune becomes clear with Dune Messiah. It's a much slimmer book than its predecessor. It's 256 pages compared to Dune's 896. Messiah takes place over a decade after the events of the first book and serves as a code to the original novel. And Villeneuve's also been linked to an HBO limited series starring Jake Gyllenhaal, who he's worked with on Enemy and Prisoners. Dune Part 2 opens on March 1st. Okay. So, John, you hear this news? You had not heard this news yet.
No.
What are your thoughts on this?
That's maybe this is Denny ascending or moving into the James Cameron phase of his career here. You know, James is doing multiple Avatar movies now, and we see that Denis may be drawn to this Dune thing over and over and over again. And he's got other projects, as you mentioned, dancing around, but clearly there's something about this story that he wants to be the on-screen author of these stories, of the Dune stories. And I liked the first movie, looking forward to the second movie. And if that one really sticks the landing and gets Oscars or whatever, then of course you're even more excited to see a third installment. So clearly this is something that is motivating him as an artist, motivating him as a director. And there's more story he wants to tell here that inspires him. And so that makes me excited because I think he's one of the best directors working today, man.
I do too, and he's great, and I can't wait to see Dune 2, and I can't wait to see it in the theater because I told you I need to see the first one in the theater. So I'm very excited to see this movie. I cannot wait. And yeah, I mean, like they said, outside of even, I mean, I cannot imagine from what I've heard inside stuff about the second one. I've heard some inside stuff, and just that it's phenomenal.
Okay,
I've just heard that it's absolutely phenomenal, and it wasn't, just someone trying to beef up the movie. It was like someone who was just like, look, the first one's really good, but this one is just like out of control. And I go, yeah, that's exactly what I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
But it's someone who doesn't bullshit. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I already felt that, but it was nice to hear it even more so. So if this movie delivers, why wouldn't you want to see a third one? And I don't want to go like, oh yeah, we're going to do a third one, but we're not going to do it with him.
Yeah.
He is the reason, like there is obviously so much great content. It's one of the things that inspired Star Wars, and it's got great lore, obviously, but there are certain directors that will take a project and elevate it, right? And that's what he did. And so why would I want to see anyone else but him right now do this? Because I didn't like the Lynch version. I didn't like it at all. I remember because of it, I almost, even when this was going to come out, I'm like, I don't know if I want to see Dune again. I didn't like it as a kid. It wasn't fair because, as I mentioned, and Lynch is a great director, but very different versions.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what they can do with it. I don't know where 2 goes, so I don't know. I can't ask questions like, will so and so come back with this? Because I don't know who survives 2. I don't know the book the way like Riley does.
Yeah, and the thing is also with this, what is the big complaint we had recently with the sequel trilogy is that you wanted one voice in charge of it for all those films so you could have consistency throughout. So having him be in charge of these films, I think is a great thing to have the consistency of voice throughout. Then if he ever gets uninspired, then at that point you explore it. But by that point, you've already established the franchise as a money winner. So I think this is a great move for Villeneuve if he stays doing these Dune films in between other stuff as well.
If he stays, that's the question. If he stays. Speaking of staying, we don't know if he's staying. We don't know if he's coming. Where's he going? What's he doing? But we know that we have a potential new Kang. That's what everyone's talking about. Potential new Kang. Well, Coleman Domingo actually responded to it because the internet responded to it, obviously, but he responded to it. Emmy-winning acting veteran Coleman Domingo is having a moment right now. And he has an acclaimed turn in Rustin. I haven't seen Rustin. Is it really good?
Rustin is okay. He is good.
Okay. And then he also had another role in The Color Purple, which I did. The Euphoria star, however, found himself under a new spotlight in the past few days after a rumor emerged claiming he's a contender to take over the Kang the Conqueror role at Marvel Studios. Jonathan Majors, of course, played various incarnations of the character in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and Loki. Majors was fired from the role last month within hours of being found guilty of misdemeanor assault and harassment. Since his exit, many have wondered if Marvel were going to drop the Kang character altogether or simply recast. Talking with ET Online, the 54-year-old Domingo revealed he's aware of the recast speculation, but isn't certain how much is true, but is grateful for the consideration, to which he says, I don't know. I'm always looking at what I have to do right now. I know there's talk and conversations around, and I don't know how much is true. I don't even get that from my team. I can't tell if it's true or not. The fans are passionate. Somehow my name is out there in the world, and I like the idea of just having your name called and someone speaking lovely and kindly about something is a beautiful thing. Just what will happen with Kang is deeply unclear right now, especially in the wake of Disney pushing back various Marvel films to 2025 and tipped to be retooling them. right, you want to know my thoughts on this?
Of course, it's your show. What do you got?
So on this particular comment, I think he just confirmed that he has the role. I think he just confirmed it. What a wonderful political answer this was, and done in such a classy way.
Yeah.
Such a classy way. And what I don't know. You know, my team, it's all love and people. It's nice to see your name thrown out there, but my team hasn't even told me anything. Yeah, right. Your team hasn't told you anything. Get out of here. I love the answer, and I would have told the same thing. And if I was in his team, I'd be like, great answer, way to go. But of course, his team's telling him, yeah, they want you. You're going. But what's he gonna say? He doesn't want to blow it. He doesn't. Of course. So I think it's a done deal. I think it's a done deal. What do you think?
I agree with you 100%. The comments let you know, because look, we went down this dance with Joaquin and the Joker. We've gone down this dance with numerous people. Cumberbatch, when he was playing the new Khan. We've seen this dance. I don't know what they're talking about. You know, it's just nice to be mentioned. It's nice to be considered, blah, blah, blah. But Coleman's in, as the article says, Coleman is in the moment. And I'll tell you this, it's been almost universal, the feeling that, yes, okay, even from people like me who are like, get rid of the character. It's always going to have negative connotations because of the connection to Jonathan Majors. And I'm not sure if you got a chance to see his interview this morning, but you see that situation there and you're like, oh, man, I don't know. But someone like Coleman, who has done a wonderful job on the press tour for both Color Purple and Rustin over the last year, has really engendered himself with people who care about these characters. And when his name was mentioned, people were super excited on social media, and even me, like, okay, let's do this. Now I'm in for a recast, and it's a smooth recast. It is a simple recast,
right? And
people will not be like, wait, that's weird. Terrence Howard is much taller than, how can you make? No, this is a smoother transition between them, and I think it's going to work so well because you like Coleman so much, and I think the Terrence Howard thing was layered with contract negotiations and what does this mean? This is much more of a smoother way in, and he's a guy who likes to work. You know, I was worried that other black actors wouldn't want to take it because you're essentially going and taking something from another black actor. But no, I think with here it's a different situation, and Coleman is a guy who just likes to work and he sees it as a job, and he's a good actor. So why not? Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the other thing is I see people say it like they should just move on from the story. They should not do Kang anymore. I don't think it's that easy. I really just don't. I just don't think it's that easy. I think that if it was something that they could have done and they didn't map out everything where they need to go and how it's going to play into their other films and story way, and probably going to cost them significant amount of money if they start rewriting or trying to cast a new villain and now put that villain in there instead and put these movies and move things here and there. It's going to cost them a lot of money to do that. And people don't think about those things, right? Because you haven't shot anything yet. So but they have a plan. And so with this plan, the plan was probably too far along for them to recast. I mean, to not recast. So they got to say, okay, you know what? Who can do this role and make this work? Because I see it in the comments now. It's like they got to move on from Kang. We don't need Kang anymore. It wasn't that exciting of a character. I don't disagree with you that the character did not really fulfill any terrifying potential yet. I don't think there's I don't think that he's, minus some of the stuff that in Loki.
Yeah.
I thought the stuff in Ant-Man almost diminished the character then helped it. But I think that they just had this plan that they need to do, and that's why I think it's going to happen. But there are going to be people who are like, "Oh, really? We're going to stick with Kang? He's not that interesting of a character." But if people will also forget about recasting if the movies and the performances are good after a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and it's also going to be. The question is when he's going to show up, if he does.
Right.
Right. Because I even saw Justin Knowles say something like around the don't expect this announcement anytime soon.
Oh yeah, Justin Crowley said they got all these priorities ahead of announcing a Kang situation. So which is smart because then you let it dissipate all the anger and the frustration about it, and you bring in Coleman. And if they go the Doom route, to match what happens in Secret Wars, Kang becomes a lesser part of the story as Doom ascends to a bigger part of the story. So bringing in Coleman to kind of carry that to the point, I think would make a lot of sense.
100%. Well, and I ask you guys, what do you guys think overall? Make sure you comment below. If you're watching on the replay, make sure that you let your thoughts be known. Do you think that they should recast? Do you think that they should, keep going with the story? Do you think that Coleman's going to be the one who gets cast? What say you guys? Again, I see that the super chats are coming in. We're going to get to them as soon as we finish up all the stories. So don't worry, keep putting them in there. We'll get to them for sure. I do want to get to this story, John, because
Okay.
I think you are too. You're a big Heat fan.
I love Heat.
It's one of my favorites, maybe of all time. And Michael Mann is talking about, like, did you read the book, the new one, the Heat 2?
Yeah, I have the book. Snyder recommended it. So
that's not the question I asked you. I said, did you read it?
I read halfway through it.
Okay, fine. Because it's been sitting on my shelf too. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I mean, have you read it?
Right.
Michael Mann began the switch to digital with scenes in 2001's Ali before going fully digital in 2004 with Collateral. The results are movies like Public Enemies, Miami Vice, Black Hat, forgot about that one, which are visually often uglier and have a more documentary style appearance than the classic filmmaking looks of his 1990 films like The Last of the Mohicans, Heat, and The Insider. In a new post on X by Travis Woods, he reveals that Mann is considering returning to shooting on film for his upcoming prequel/sequel to Heat, which is expected to be his next project. The news reportedly comes from Mann himself during a post-screening Q&A he did recently at the Egyptian Theater in Los Angeles. As one user pointed out, Mann previously teased such a possibility of returning to celluloid with his Ferrari film a few years back, only for it not to happen. Whether it will happen, we'll wait to see. Casting for the movie has yet to be announced, even as Adam Driver's name has been rumored for some time, and no release date is yet locked. I'm curious about that Adam Driver rumor, right? Because he worked on him with Ferrari, so you could see where I could see that happening, because the conversations probably already happened, and they probably talked about it a lot on set if it is going to happen. So it's possible. Who did they say he's rumored for? Is he rumored for
I think it's for De Niro's role.
Yeah, De Niro's role is, I mean, he's like 10 feet taller than
I know.
But still, I mean, you could see him doing it, I guess. But sure, he's a really good actor. I started Ferrari. You didn't like Ferrari, right?
I didn't. No, it wasn't for me.
Okay, because I saw the I have it. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I started the beginning of it, and then, as I say in the show all the time, started watching it. Wife bailed, and that was the end of it. But we actually started watching Reacher, which I really like.
I love Reacher, man.
Did you watch both seasons?
Both seasons, dude.
Okay.
Twice.
Yeah. Okay. We're about 3 or 4 episodes into season 1, and we're both. It's like our new show that we're watching. So I got her locked into it. I got her locked in. She's excited about it. So what was I gonna say? Yeah. Oh, Heat. So shooting on film, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, why not? Like, if you're gonna do it, like, I think that I'm very curious to see how they're gonna pull this one off, and I'm like torn.
Yeah,
I really want to read the story, because I want to see what happens to Vincent. I want to see all these different things. I want to know, but then I'm like, well, do I just want to see in on screen, because he wrote the book too.
Yeah.
So like, he's gonna put in the movie what he wants to put in the movie. It's not like one of these things like, I gotta lose this, and they lost this part of the movie, the book. And I wish they wouldn't have done that. He can put in whatever he wants to put in. So I don't know if I want to be spoiled.
Well, also the part of this that worries me is, he's getting older, man. And the thing about Heat is, if you're going to do a prequel and a sequel, which is what the book is, a prequel and a sequel, then, you've got to, you got to have that energy. You got to have that young energy to capture that thing more authentically. So I don't know if Michael Mann is the right choice to direct this one. I think he's obviously to executive produce, but
he's got it. He's got to direct it, dude.
I don't know.
Got to direct it. He cannot. He's got to direct it. It's his passion. It's his movie. It'd be the same one. I wouldn't want anyone else directing Heat.
Okay.
Not for that one. There's other movies, sure. Like, even though I don't necessarily think that they got the best product out of it, when people are like, oh, Spielberg should be the only one directing Indiana Jones, and people will probably will see he should have been. I still think Mangold was a great choice. I just wish that he wouldn't have been as thrown into the making the studio version. We look what he did with Logan. Logan was. I wish he would have made I just wish he would have made a smaller movie like that, and make a smaller kind of Logan. The Logan feel that he did for X-Men that he did. That's smaller. You could have made it rated R, obviously, but you could have made a smaller feel, like independent, kind of driven Indiana Jones. That would have been something special, man.
Yeah, I'm always confused by it because we see fans who go like, "Don't give me a depressed Indiana," blah, blah, blah. And it's like that happens. The reason it didn't work for me in Last Jedi is because you could tell Hamill wasn't 100% on board with this characterization when you're watching Last Jedi. So, and later his comments kind of proved that when he went back and forth about it. So it wasn't 100% authentically there when you're watching the movie for me, but it could have worked. And you could have done that with Indiana. And I think you had shades of it at the beginning with him there. And, he's not with his wife anymore. He's teaching and the kids aren't listening anymore. And it happens to all of us. You get older and you're not cool or hip or exciting anymore. And you've got to be like, well, what do I do now? And so that could have been a really interesting. And so you find his smile by the end of the movie, but it's a brutal, more honest take on what an adventurer would be like as he gets older, reflecting back on his life. Yeah, could have been fun.
It's longer conversation.
Yeah, true.
Longer conversation. But last thing I want to talk about before we get, again, I see the super chats coming in. We're going to get to them in just a moment here, but I wanted to, there's actually a couple stories that tie into this, and let's get to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Actually got a strong box office boost.
Let's have this conversation, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, over 330 million global haul. It's still, going to probably be a loss, but it came back more so than some of the other movies. And Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom's disappointing debut led to many writing it off. And comes from Mark Cassidy, by the way, over at Comic Book Movie. Ant-Man. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom's disappointing debut led to many writing it off as another casualty of the superhero slump. But the movie has been performing relatively well overseas over the past couple of weeks, and now it's taken in over 334 million worldwide. James Wan's sequel recently passed The Flash, which was 270 million. Fury of the Gods was 133.8 million, and Blue Beetle was 129 to be one of the highest grossing DC movies of 2023. And now it's set its sights on 2022's Black Adam at 393. Aquaman 2 opens in Japan, and analysis are confident the movie's going to actually pass 400 million. So it's probably going to beat Black Adam. So a small win for the WB DC Studios, but Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom marks the final movie of the DCEU era before the franchise is rebooted with James Gunn and Peter Safran's DCU, which means the third movie would be unlikely, even if one had performed a lot better. So this kind of answers a question that I kept seeing and people asking me, like, well, you guys were really hard on the Marvels. Why weren't you guys hard on Aquaman? Because Aquaman bombed. Yeah. Well, because Aquaman's still making money.
Yes,
Aquaman Marvel's kept losing, had like monumental drops, huge drops. This movie's still making money. I didn't like this movie. I didn't like this movie at all. But it's gonna be, I think they said 250, and then after marketing, so it looks like it could break even, which is a massive win for the studio. I think this is a massive win and a bigger story than most people are. Hell, it's our fourth story of the day today, and this is a big story. The fact that everyone was writing this thing off to be a real stinker, and it's going to wind up breaking even or even making money.
Yeah, I mean, 400 million, that's nothing to sneeze at. And I know you get it in comparison with how much the production budget was and all of that stuff, but for all the travails of this film, for it to even get to 400 million, I think is going to be an incredible accomplishment. And I saw some people giggling about it overseas, as if overseas money doesn't spend as good as American money. It's all fucking money. Okay.
Who cares?
So it doesn't fucking matter. It's a global film community now. Stop fooling yourselves. It's a domestic film community. It's going to make its money. And you're right about the Marvels.
Well, one thing, actually, there's someone, and hold that point in the Marvels. Someone said that in their, actually right, because I think they said they're close to be with the reshoots, probably pushing close to 350 with marking. They probably have to push close to 650 700 million to break even.
Well, who knows? We saw the Elementals go on this run for how long?
Right. So I think it'll probably still look. The bottom line is it's not going to make 200 million like they thought it's going to make
Right.
400.
Right.
So even if it is a loss, it's not the loss they thought it was going to be. It's a good point as far as it needs to make close to 650, 700. But you're saying about the Marvels?
Yeah, just saying that what we've seen recently now, man, and maybe I'll get in trouble for this, but it's nothing new for me recently. But like the Marvels, right? There have become people who have become the Marvels truthers. That's what I call them. The Marvels truthers who all were complaining that no one was writing articles about Aquaman and its opening box office. You'll notice all those people are quiet. All those people aren't tweeting anymore about it. All those people aren't calling this out. That film failed. Okay, it failed. Now, was there a certain element that was based on racism or sexism or misogyny, whatever you want to say? Sure, but it wasn't the overall reason that film failed. It just didn't connect with people. It's a bad time for Marvel, and people didn't want to go see it. Okay, the Aquaman shocked the shit out of me. The first one when it made $1 billion, I didn't like that film. The second film now making 400 million. It has an audience. People are going to see this movie. So this idea that these websites and these industry sites are somehow biased against the Marvels, but they're loving Aquaman is just mind blowing to me to see that kind of stuff. And I think people aren't thinking rationally about this stuff. It just didn't work. The film failed. Just accept that the film failed. That's it. Don't try to find all these nonsense reasons for why the film failed. It just failed.
Yeah,
Aquaman is making money.
Well, it's
not making money, but
it's doing better. It's doing way better than the Marvels did.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. All right, so everybody, put your comments in there. Let us know what you think about this, whether it's in the replay, whatnot. Throw in a couple more of those chats because we're going to get to them in just a second. But I also very, very excited here to tell you guys about some of the sponsors that we're working with, and I'm pretty pumped about it too, John, because I don't know if you actually you were on the show last time when we talked about Nutrafol.
Oh yeah,
and we talked about Nutrafol, and you guys have been seeing a lot about Nutrafol because look, hair thinning, guys, it's not inevitable. It's not. You got to take control of your hair's future before it's too late with Nutrafol's clinically tested hair growth supplement for men. I'm not going to be ashamed. I tried it. It's great. I love it. It's awesome. And I'll tell you, it's like even my wife was like, "Look at this," because when it comes to my my hair, it's something as I grow older, like in my family and everything too. I knew it would start thinning, and that's fine. But Nutrafol has been helping, and hair thinning, shedding, all that stuff, all the hair issues. I get it. I've seen growth. I've seen decreased shedding. I've seen all of it. And it's easy. You take 4 pills. You do it with meal. You do it with 1 meal, and just four pills. Done. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair, because for a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners here $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping. We got to go to Nutrafol.com/men. Enter that code BIGTHING. You can find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and hairstylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. It's Nutrafol.com/men. Nutrafol.com/men. But you got to enter that code BIGTHING. Do it. Use that code. It's fantastic. It's John, we talked about this last time.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah. Cool. So the other one I wanted to tell people about is Fume. Fume's one, and I've had a lot of people reach out too. And this is something that Riley has been loving since we introed it, because look, cold turkey, it's not great on sandwiches. It's great to break your bad habits on it. I'm telling you. It's not like a weird mind voodoo from your crazy neighbor next door. You know that it's Fume. And what they do is they look at bad habits in a different way, because not everything inside of a bad habit is wrong. So instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, just remove the bad from the habit. So if you don't know what Fume is, it's an innovative, award-winning flavored air device that does just that. So they don't use vapor. They use air, wow. Flavored air. And instead of electronics, Fume, it's completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, and that's the most important one for me, and why I said, yes, I want to work with Fume. Fume uses delicious flavors. You get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit that you're free to enjoy, and it makes replacing your bad habit easy. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial, and it's designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, give your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your habit. So, I mean, again, Riley was like raving about it because,
okay.
because she's like, the first time he was like, let me try it. And then like it had a lot of flavor to it. It felt fresh. There was the refreshing. It's like, it's like an herbal tea, but it was like, if it was vapor.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really well weighted. It's perfectly balanced and it's great. It's got the real wood, the shape. You feel kind of cool in using it. So what you got to do is you got to try the new Solano Fume. It's made with a premium walnut barrel and it's an onyx coated mouthpiece, has a slightly softer finish. Wow. Right now is the best time to start the good habit with Fume because all orders between January 1st to the 14th have a buy one, get one course. So you can stock up for that New Year's resolution. Plus, as a listener of my show, you get 10% off when you use the code. You got to go to tryfume.com/big thing, but use that code big thing and get an additional 10% off plus BOGO course until January 14th to make starting the good habit that much easier. So do it. Tryfume.com/big thing. All right. So when you guys, by the way, when you do the sponsors, as I mentioned before, I cannot tell you how much it helps the show. And I know that there's been a lot of support on the show recently. You guys have been joining here today. There's almost 1,000 people watching right now. If you guys signed up to any of our sponsors today, first of all, thank you. Second of all, please, you're going to get some good stuff when you do it. Please understand how thankful I am when you do it because it does move the show, helps the show tremendously. All right, John, let's get to some of these questions, man.
Okay.
We got tons of questions coming in.
Wow.
And I'm going to get to all of them. Did you, by the way, and we're going to get to it in a little bit, but I saw someone already asking you questions. So get ready for some UAP questions.
Hey, well, let's do it.
Do you see the thing about the Miami alien?
I saw the video of it crossing the street.
So confused. I'm like, we're going to cover that. It's me and Riley and our buddy Pavel, who's going to come in. Nice. We're going to do that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other stuff on UAP Tuesday tomorrow. But all right, the first one comes in from our buddy Wicked Art, man.
Nice.
And Wicked Art is the very talented artist who does the Capes and Cows comic book, but he does the intro for Capes and Cows and for Sith. And he says, hey, Christian and John, my wife and I just watched Guy Ritchie's The Covenant last night, and it was great. Really hit home being a former Afghan vet myself, but wondering either you watched it. I think, Roki, you love this movie.
I love The Covenant. It is fantastic. It barely did not make my top 10 of last year, but I thought it was a fantastic film. I did a review of it, like a 21-minute review of it, which I rarely do on my channel because I wanted to get more attention for the film. I thought Guy Ritchie stepped out of his comfort zone of those gangster films and delivered a wonderful film with Jake Gyllenhaal. And I forget the actor's name, and I don't want to missay his name, but he was incredible in this two-hander as they're going back and forth in this story. And it's just a great story and touching and moving and really well directed and really well acted. So yeah,
I need to see it. Because I have it. I own it.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the ones I need to see. And I remember you talking about it, and I was like, I need to check this movie out. I heard good things about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Armada. Thoughts on Leave the World Behind? Netflix movie. Thought it was very interesting. Roke and I actually have talked about this movie. Like, you got to understand, there's nothing with Julia Roberts I won't watch. I'll watch her do a Super Bowl commercial. I'll watch her do, she can read lottery tickets. I'll watch it. But the movie itself, to me, it starts out really interesting, and by the end of it, I was like, that's it. The last scene, I'm like, that's what we're gonna do. Yeah. It's like one of those. I'm just going, okay. We left. My wife and I left going, we watched that.
Yeah.
You had a little bit more of a goofy take with it, right?
I call it a laptop flipper, and it's one of those films where you're like, I'm just going to flip open my laptop now, and I'll listen to it, and I'll understand what's going on, but it's lost me already. But I've got to finish it as a critic or whatever to review it. But yeah, it started out promisingly, and the Obamas producing it. I was like, well, let's see what they got, and watching it, and I was like, and then the dance scene with the funk music. I'm like, what is going on?
I want to know from her, like, what's going on in that scene, because I've seen her in other movies dance. She can dance.
Sure, she can dance.
What is that? Like, what is that? The song that did they give her a different song, or did they say dance like you're a mom at a wedding?
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. And he's breaking it down. He's
Yeah,
like, he's moving. And she's just kind of like, and I'm like, what's going on? Why are they doing that to her?
What was the decision here? Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, let's stop this. Anyway, so yeah, the movie, it's okay.
Yeah.
Gallagher, Star Buddy. Hey guys, like everyone else on Twitter, I agree that Jo Koy Jandro shouldn't host the Golden Globes again. May have been him. Yeah. I saw Koy actually go after Jo Koy, which I thought
What Koy did of all people.
No,
Wow,
I know. It's true. But yeah, no, I think that he shouldn't host for a while.
Yeah.
It's funny because when Koy Jandro hosted our comedy show, the next show after that, Roxy hosted. So Koy did a set instead. All right, so we got yeah. All right, here's next. And Galagos actually follows that up with speaking about Boy and the Heron. Would you prefer to go subtitled or dubbed with an all-star cast for your first time viewing? I go subtitles. I always go subtitles.
Always subtitles.
I don't have a problem with subtitles. I don't have a problem with it. I'm like, when I did like Godzilla, like Godzilla almost, that what I loved about Avatar 2 was that in the beginning where Jake is talking about how after a while he didn't even realize he wasn't speaking English anymore because it was so fluent to him that and that's the way they basically told you that they're actually speaking Na'vi, but you hear English. That's what it was for Godzilla for me. I was so locked in to the story, I forgot I was even reading subtitles. It all I followed it like that. I was so invested in the story, and that's the same thing. So subtitles to me, I watched the entire series of Dark with subtitles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I love subtitles. I mean, I've been a fan of foreign film since I was a teenager, so watching subtitles for me has never been an issue, and I always prefer the subtitle. I almost never watch the dub because the Akira version that's dubbed, or Akira as Emma Fife would make me say, Akira, the dub version just ruined things for me. So I was like, I'm never watching dub again.
It takes away the emotion of it, the real emotion of it. Yeah. Ed Boy Movies. Hey, John and Christian, hope you're well. Sorry if this was mentioned in the past live, but any potential plans for Planet of the Apes trilogy rewatch? Do not apologize. Yeah, there is a potential plan for that, and I think what I would do is in the same way now, instead of doing the way that we used to do it with the actual, we'd watch it and then have like a conversation about it. I think that what we would do is actually show like the footage in the way that I did, what's the One Piece or Ahsoka, and I'm actually going to do Echo. I've already shot 3 of them, and I just got the first one we got going up when we can. We were allowed to drop it once the show drops. But I think doing a rewatch that way of Planet of the Apes before the new one comes out, I just have to find people who've never seen the movie and watch it with them. One person, I'm not sure. I'm sure Brett hasn't seen it. Maybe Brett hasn't seen it, or Steph. I'm not sure. I have to check in. But yeah, I think so. Are you going to do anything on your channel for those?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Same thing as you. I'm getting into that more in 2024 as I watch you and Greg Alba and other people. And first, Late to the Party do their rewatches, which are great. I'm like, let me try this out and do it the same way, because it doesn't have to be first time watching. You can just be rewatching or watching it after a long time. People still want to see you reacting to it if they like what you do on the channel. So
that's right. That's right. Okay, so next one here, Mike Joyce. He said, sending in a super chat to keep Roka happy. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Mike's always very supportive of the show. I appreciate that so much. Okay, Ralph. Great name, Ralph. Do you guys put Paul T. Anderson on the same level of Scorsese, Nolan, and Tarantino? And what's your favorite movie of his? I like Licorice Pizza. I actually, you and I differ. I did like Licorice Pizza. But no, I wouldn't put him there. I do get excited when he's got a new movie to see what he's going to do. Boogie Nights is my favorite.
Yeah.
Boogie Nights is my favorite. But I would say, I would say that I wouldn't put him there yet in that range, but he definitely is. He's more so in the Wes Anderson kind of thing for me.
Yeah, and he's he's curating, I think, some of TCM with Scorsese and Spielberg. So certainly certain people consider him in that section of directors, and I think he's a fantastic auteur and a wonderful filmmaker. I love Boogie Nights as well. I think that is the #1 film of his, although Punch Drunk Love for me is a very quiet 1A or 1B in compared to Boogie Nights. But yeah, Licorice Pizza. Ooh, that was made December, but not good. Ugh, I hated that film so much.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. So here's Sam. Oh, hey, John and Chris. With Barbie not winning Best Comedy, does it still have a shot at winning Best Picture? Also, could holdovers and what's AOAF? What is that?
I don't know. Oh,
Anatomy of the Fall. Anatomy of the Fall.
Oh, Anatomy of the Fall.
Okay. Also, could holdovers and Anatomy of the Fall be the dark horses for Best Picture? Dark horses, sure. I think you got a better shot at Anatomy of the Fall winning for Best Foreign Film, which it probably is a shoe-in lock for. But I think, look, the thing with Barbie is that I just don't. I mean, my opinion, I just don't think it's better than. It's definitely not better than Oppenheimer, in my opinion. It's not better than The Holdovers. It's not better than Poor Things. Like people are like, oh, I can't believe it wasn't in your top 10. I didn't love that movie. I thought it was a very well directed film. I didn't love the movie. There are a lot of people who did love it. It did very well in box office. But it also doesn't mean anything from Golden Globes into Oscars, because the Oscars can also be very political. And Oscars can also be, in the past, they've made decisions on not necessarily the best movie, but what they think that should win for social statuses. It has happened.
Sure.
For sure. So I don't write it off just because it lost at the Golden Globes. I don't think it should win, but don't write it off just because it did.
I don't think it has a shot at winning Best Picture. I mean, it has a shot, sure, as you know, like just like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a shot at winning the Super Bowl, sure, because they're in the playoffs. It has a shot, but I don't think it's, and not that I think it's comparable to Tampa Bay. It's obviously a better film than that team, but like I just think the Academy is not going to give it to Barbie. They'll give it to Oppenheimer. I think that's going to be the choice at the end of the day. It's between that and holdovers, and I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Oppenheimer because they want it to reflect a certain thing. The Academy likes to be seen in a certain way, and I think that film reflects it. And I want to ask the Barbie people, if you want Barbie to win, did you think Top Gun Maverick should have won Best Picture? Because I think that's comparable in ways to Barbie in how it's a popular film, made that much money. Right. It had an emotionally resonant story with a movie star.
It is the Top Gun of this year for sure.
Yeah.
As far as I hear what you're saying, as far as that the mass audience on, like, my daughter was up for a little bit last night. She's like, I hope Barbie wins, you know, because it's the movie that she knows. She doesn't know any of these other movies that are coming out. Speaking of which, Mike Joyce says, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? So this is the first time that I'm ever going to say these words in this. This just shows you where I am in my life, John.
Okay.
Who's in the Super Bowl?
Well, first of all,
no idea.
We just got in the playoffs.
Oh, okay. I don't even know. No idea. It's the playoffs just started. I've never been so detached from football in my life. I watched the Giants do it and DeLuca do his stuff, but not watching any playoffs, not watching anything. I have no time. I have no time to watch. I turned on football for like 2 seconds. It was a Jaguars. Are they in it?
They got knocked out by the Titans.
Okay, but they were in it. There was
they were going to win the division if they had won. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't imagining it. No. So I turned it on and I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch a little of this game. And my daughter comes and goes, football. And that was it. And no, I can't do shit in my house. So I'm like, forget it. I'm not even going to pay attention. So who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? I don't even know who's in it. Playoffs.
I think it's going to be Ravens versus 49ers in a repeat of years ago. And I think if the 49ers stay healthy, I think the 49ers can win the Super Bowl for sure. But I think Buffalo is a dark horse in the AFC. And in the NFC, the Cowboys have a real shot. So those are the only 4 teams that I would consider in the Super Bowl. And I think the 49ers, if they stay healthy, will win the Super Bowl. Yeah.
All right. Oops, that's me talking. I don't need me talking. All right. So then we have Ralph again. I agree. Planet of the Apes rewatch, please. It's definitely possible. There's new things that I want to try. I was actually thinking of doing. I mentioned this. I've never seen Squid Game.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that might be one that I'm going to watch.
Well, you have to do the series and then the reality show.
That's what I hear. The
reality show's excellent, man.
My buddy Matt Bull. Of the last 10 years of Oscar movies, would this be considered a good year, bad year, or moderate year? It's a great question. I think it's a good year. I think it's one of those things, because I have a question for you, Matt Bull, because this is as a casual fan, right? How many of the movies that you've seen on nominations have you heard of, that you've seen, minus me talking about them, because I know you watch the show, but like the casual viewer, like I'm curious, because there are a lot of movies that are out there that were nominated. And like I said on Golden Globes, I saw like almost all of them, and it's one of the first times that as the awards are coming through, I'm like, yeah, I've seen all these. I don't have to catch up on anything. I've seen everything. So I think it's a good year. Do I think it's a great year? No, but I think it's a solid year. I think it's a solid year.
I'd agree with that. It's a solid year. There are a lot of good films that are out there for you to watch, international ones as well. So I think it's a very good year. Or it's a solid year, good year, but not a great year. I agree with you. Not a great
year. Okay. Kenneth Colton. Thank you, Kenneth. Very, very kind of you. Everybody's putting in the super chat. Very kind. But Kenneth puts in a 1999. Hard choice to pick my most anticipated film of 2024. I got to go Dune Part 2 with Deadpool 3 as a close second. Pleasure to see you guys live. Thank you for watching us live. I'm actually going to be doing a full top 10 anticipated. I'm doing two things this week that are going to kind of preview a bunch of things. The first I'm going to do is the top 10 most anticipated of the year. That should come out very soon. If not end of day today, then maybe end of day tomorrow. But then Sean Chandler is coming on the show.
Hey.
And we're going to talk about just the 2024 just movie preview. And we're going to kind of cover from January until December and just go over everything. So I'm not going to give you away my most anticipated. I will tell you that both of the ones that you mentioned will absolutely be on my list. That's a definite. But yeah, there's a lot of movies out there. And what always happens to me every year, I don't know if it happens the same thing with you, John, is that I make a list and then something comes out that I either forgot about, or there's a trailer that drops and I'm like, oh, because as we talked about, like that De Niro movie, that mobster movie. I'm so curious about that movie, but I can't tell if it's going to be my list yet because I want to see a trailer.
Yeah. I like I'll say Madam Web. That's my most anticipated film.
Madame Web.
Madame Web. But no, I agree with you. I'm putting one out as well because I've been sick last week, and so I'm behind on every video I wanted to do to start the year. So I'll be doing that this week as well. So yeah, I won't give anything away. But yeah, there's those two are definitely on the list, and there's a few other ones. And you're right, Christian. There's these smaller films that pop up out of nowhere every year that people are like, oh my God, you got to see this. So there may be some anticipated ones that we don't know about yet until we see a trailer or hear the buzz. Yeah,
true. Thank you again for the wonderful super chat. Okay, Christopher, I'm a content creator. I'm having an issue with another creator trying to start drama with me. How would you handle a situation like this? Thank you. We're gonna have different answers for this. My biggest thing, John and I talk about this stuff all the time.
We text about this all the time, guys.
All the time. My advice to everybody inside of this social media age is post and run, meaning post your content, focus on your content. Depending on what you do inside of your content, I don't believe in, making in the same way that I talked about it before, where I said that, when somebody's out there, if you're following somebody, if you're watching an actor on Golden Globes or whatever it might be, and you're watching for the movies and somebody else gives a political speech that has nothing to do with the movie itself. As I mentioned, Lily Gladstone was absolutely relevant. It made sense, everything that she was doing. But if there's sometimes people I don't watch it for that. Other people say, oh, they use the platform for the time that they had and they should. But I also push back in the fact that if you're following one of those actors on Twitter and they post, oh, I don't follow you for this. Well, then don't follow them because that's their personal platform. But I don't use my platform for political stuff. I just don't do it. I just don't, because I talk about movies. I talk about TV shows, and it's just not, because I know everybody's on different sides of the aisle for different things. And for me, I think that's one of the biggest problems with the entertainment space is that there's this look at what I got to try to accomplish. Look at what I need to try to accomplish. I'm going to lead with this. I'm going to lead with that. And it's like, I just want to talk about certain things inside of the movies. And then in the same way that when I talk about the UAP stuff to me is supposed to bring together both of the sides, and it's a different thing. You bring up different politicians, because it's part of what's going on. So that's one time that I do dive into that. But I say stay away from drama unless you're a drama channel. Like, is that what you do? Like, if that's what you do, and some people do that, I don't have the mental health to try to do that. I don't like fighting with people. I don't like people screaming and yelling at each other. To me, it's easier to mute people. It's easier to just, if people want to scream and yell at you, they can, and you let them do it. And if that's what makes them happy, that's what makes them happy. I don't get enjoyment of going after other people. John, you feel different.
Look, Christian and I are just different people in how we approach these things, and I respect Christian's point of view. And Christian knows whenever there's a kerfuffle, and some of you may have paid attention to a little bit of a kerfuffle over the weekend, I reach out to Christian. I go, this and this is going on. What's your advice? And Christian's always great. I don't always take the advice, but he's one of the few people in my life who I trust in situations like this to give me perspective that is experienced and knowledgeable. So if you're listening right now and you're listening to what Christian said and answering your question, and that appeals to you, then do that. That works for you. 9 times out of 10, he's right about how to approach these things. He'll tell me to lay off it, leave it alone. And if someone's trying to start drama, most of the time, if they're trying to start drama, it's because they want to use you to elevate their channel. They want to use the drama to get attention for themselves. I've been tagged on a few videos this weekend. I haven't watched any of them. I don't know these people. I don't care about these people. And I'm not going to watch them go insane about something that I felt passionate about. I don't need to waste my time with it. Now, but if you're going to engage in drama, just know, as Christian said, if you're going to engage in this and it's your right to engage in it, you got to be able to deal with the blowback, because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to come on your channel and put some pretty ugly, horrific, toxic, bullying stuff on your channel. And you got to decide, am I going to read all those comments, and can my mental health deal with it? That's the game. Most people, a lot of people get into this YouTube sphere and all they see is the money or the attention. And they don't understand there's a drawback to this, that people will criticize, people will come after you. Enough of them come after you that you start to question your own feelings about things. So if you're going to engage with a creator and have drama, just know that you're opening a door or a Pandora's box, and you can't control where it goes. I think the smart move, especially if you're a person who's got more followers, more subscribers, is to ignore them. Or if they have more followers, you can ignore them as well, because it's your decision how you want to take care of yourself. So that's what I would say. And it's the battle I always have, because I am an opinionated person. People will come after me. People misconstrue or twist or whatever. Like they twisted my feelings about a certain thing recently. And you just got to deal with it and roll with it, and that's part of the game. So that's what I would say to you. If you want to engage in it, just know that you're opening Pandora's box you can't control. The only thing you can control is how you respond to things. And if you want to ignore it, that's maybe the smarter move for you, if you know you can't handle it.
Post and run.
Exactly. As Christian said. Yeah.
Here's the next one. Ralph. Yes, Heat 2. That's why I'm Ralph. Yes. That was Pacino. Oh, I know. You don't tell me you have the line. I'll do the line. That was Pacino. He yelled it for banging his wife or watching his TV. Shut up, Ralph. Sit down.
You can talk, but you can't have my TV.
It's the best. The best. He's the lines, some of the lines he has in that role, and it's some iconic stuff.
100%, man.
Who what are you fucking Al? That's the best. Okay, let's see. Let's keep going. Thank you, everybody here who's continue. You guys can keep throwing them in there, and like I said, we're not going to leave until they're all said and done. So, if you saw, it was too late. Nope, we're here until we run out. So I'm going to keep going. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Going through. So I think the next one here is from Dennis Hoffman. Love Roka. And check out his Hot Mic and Snyder's newsletter. Yeah, absolutely. So Roka, why don't you look for the next question? Why don't you tell people what's going on the channel right now?
Yeah, the Hot Mic is going on 4 p.m. every Thursday. Jeff Snyder and I going at it. We were going at it on Twitter about the Golden Globes today. So it isn't just on the show. We're always going at it about things as two East Coast boys. If you like our show, the Hot Mic, 4 p.m. PT, if you like Jeff, you like me, we have strong opinions about things going on in the world of entertainment. It's the one place where we are not, I don't know, I don't want to speak for Christian, but it's the one place on my channel where we're not beholden to studios or actors or directors or producers. Jeff and I give you what we believe to be the truth in our analysis of situations going on in the world of entertainment. It's always fun. It's never boring. And, you're going to find strong opinions on that show. And that's on the Outlaw Nation network, where you can go and find that at youtube.com/John Roka Says. And of course, Jeff has his newsletter at theinsnider.com that you can read. And he's always dropping stuff every day. Yeah. If you can put up with his ranting tweets about how stuff isn't working on his on his website.
The best. All right.
Or Jeff.
Check it out, guys. The Raven Effect. Hey, Christian and John, what do you think is the #1 trope in movies today that needs to stop? For me, it's that violence is the only answer. No one in films ever tries to be a peacemaker or calls for a truce. It's tiring. I think that look, that mantra in the world is fantastic. I think in certain movies, like if John Wick was like, "Hey guys, let's stop doing this," it doesn't work as much. But I know what you're saying. I don't know. There's a lot of different tropes. Questions like this are always tough on the spot because I'm like, oh, there's certain things that happen. And it's just a predictable thing. This is going to happen. Oh, well, they set this person up. I guess casting someone who's always a villain, and then you just know, and they try to get you with a twist that they're the villain.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, yeah, that's why you cast them. I know they're going to be bad. Like, oh, you're trying to tell me this time that this person's actually good guy. Oh, there's the twist. They're actually bad. Like that stuff drives me nuts. There's other things that I'm sure as you watch, I'm like, I hate when they do this, but I can't think of it right off the bat. That's the one that comes to mind.
To me is when you're trying to sell me a guy who's a strong villain and he's got terrible henchmen around him.
Right.
This is always frustrating.
Yeah.
And I was watching a little bit of Force Awakens over the weekend, and that's one of those things that I thought bothered me a little bit about First Order was you get General Hux, but Hux seems like he's a completely incompetent guy to be in charge of this stuff. And it's like, you've got to really do a great job of uplifting your villain, but also uplifting the people around him that or her, so that you're like completely buying into the situation. And we were talking about a show before we started here where that same situation popped up again, where you're like, why are these the choices of the hench people to be around this person? Because it doesn't make any sense. So you've got to match it in terms of quality.
100%. Absolutely you do. All right. Here's the next one.
Okay.
What's Roka's opinions of UAPs?
I believe in them.
Yeah.
I believe in them. I believe in aliens. I believe in all that stuff. I've always believed in all that stuff. Do I believe if the government's, I'm still out on that. I'm still, processing all the information as I'm reading and learning more, certainly through Christian and other people, reading these articles and finding out more about this kind of stuff. But I've always believed in aliens, always believed in UAPs. And I would not be surprised, especially when you see some of that footage from Air Force guys and people in the military who are not really known for lying about those kinds of things because they take it very seriously. That's the stuff that kind of pushes me over the edge to believe that we have had encounters numerous times in our history in this country.
That's what I'm saying, man. Because of that answer in general, like you don't even know like a fraction of the amount of military that has talked about this stuff. You don't even know the fraction. You saw like their credentials and everything too. Like you'd be on me and Riley every week singing about that.
It may be coming. Who knows?
I'm telling you for sure. Okay. Raven Effect, if you think Joe Koy did a bad job of hosting, just saying we saw your boobs and realized he didn't do so bad. Is that one of his jokes that he did?
Well, he talked about Barbie saying that about the boobs, but I mean, Greta was like,
nothing really worked.
Let me ask you something. Do you think it would have worked if he had passed the joke by Taylor Swift? Like if he had said to Taylor, "Yes, listen, we're going to joke about this. Joke. Are you cool? Let's do a bit." And that's the smarter move, right?
That's what I said in the beginning.
That joke,
that joke. Had he had a rapport with her.
Yep.
And had she had if she was like, all right, you got me. And she was like, you can goof with that. That's funny. And but she clearly doesn't want to talk about this because it probably bothers her.
It does.
And you cannot go after the biggest pop star in the world right now with the audience that she has and people that she's got this. And if it's Ricky Gervais, he's not going to care. Taylor Swift, who cares if the Swifties come in? He doesn't care.
Right.
Joe Koy doesn't have that yet. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that kind of fan base. He doesn't have. It's like, well, he's trying to be ballsy. Yeah, but she was nominated for a concert film.
Yeah.
That she's probably that was it. You had so many other people that were going to be more the focus of that night.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And the way that he went after Oppenheimer was bad.
Oh yeah.
He went after Oppenheimer. If you were going to go after I was surprised. If you were going to go after a 3.5 a long movie, you should have went after Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yes.
That movie's still playing right now for my showing. I saw it 2 months ago. And I like that. I really like that movie. Yeah. But it's like, come on. I mean, what are these people doing? Why is it so long? And why is that guy still dancing at the wedding? All right. Here we go.
That took me 5 days, blonde. Jesus.
Simon Section. Both of you have dipped your toes in stand-up comedy.
No. That is Christian.
I don't think Simon knows the history there, but
I've dipped a fingernail. Okay.
I've done more than dip my toes. But I understand what you're saying. Did you see Cat Williams calling out comedians in the Shay Shay podcast? I did. Even Joe Rogan would like an interview. Joe Cat, UFOs, Evil Kaba. I feel nervous.
Come on. Yeah.
What's that one? What did I miss?
He's just putting those things together. Joe, Cat Williams, UFOs, Evil.
Oh, okay. I know that they're doing. Thank you, by the way, Simon, for the very generous donation. They're doing like so Jeremy Corbell, who's very much involved in the UAP stuff. They're doing this documentary with a lot of different information. I don't know if you saw the trailer yet, but and it's TMZ produced, which is interesting. But that one's gonna have a lot of crazy shit going on in it. That's coming out soon. But no, as far as stand-up goes, I did see Cat Williams do something, but I wasn't paying attention to all of it, to be completely honest.
It's a 3-hour podcast.
Oh, okay.
Him and Shannon Sharp, talking about all of his stuff. And I saw clips on social media and people responding back and forth. I love Cat. I think Cat is great. He is the new Paul Mooney, that guy that tells the truth.
I know Paul Mooney is, but no,
I'm just saying he tells the truth whether you want to hear it or not. And so I like that about Cat.
I fine, but Paul Mooney was a very special kind of.
No, you're right.
There's no other Paul Mooney. And I say that because Paul was always very good to me. Paul was always very kind to me, nice to me, and he was no bullshit. That guy was no bullshit.
That's what I love about Paul.
He was no bullshit. Luke Skywalker. Will Lucasfilm be smart and hire Takashi Yamasaki, who did Godzilla -1? Will they be? I can't say that. I hate saying it, but I can't say the Lucasfilm will be smart. They haven't made a smart decision in a very long time. Do you think they're going to?
No, I don't think they'll hire Takashi Yamazaki unless they start exploring stuff from Visions 2, some of the anime or Japanese influence stuff. Could be interesting to see him explore that, but I really doubt they'd hire him.
They should hire him and have him do a freaking $100 million Star Wars movie and actually make me care about the characters. That would be a wonderful.
That's fair.
John Lee, FYI, France didn't submit Anatomy of a Fall, so it can't win foreign language. But didn't it win foreign language? Oh, I guess it won foreign language for Golden Globes, but not for Oscars. It submitted Face of Things, may get nominated for Best Picture. Oh, well, it'll definitely get nominated for Best Picture. Then people love that movie.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's a really good film.
A lot of top 10 lists for critics. Yeah.
It was in mine. Was it in yours?
Yep.
Yeah, it was in mine. Just a very nice donation with a horse head from Butt Funnel. Thank you, Butt Funnel.
Is that a reference? I don't know.
Well, I know, maybe. It's hard to say that with a straight face, but thank you, Butt Funnel. Okay. Here is the next one. Aquanos. Y'all have been the two most centered voices on this state of fandom. Bravo. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Very kind.
I think Christian much more than me, but I appreciate it.
It was very nice that someone said that about you.
Yes, very. I'm like Coleman DeVigo. It's nice to be in the conversation. It's nice to be mentioned.
But my agents haven't had that conversation with you.
Yeah, with me. No.
But the difference is they'll never have that conversation.
That's true.
All right. Taro, I love what you do. Thank you. Have you or your daughters watched the new Percy Jackson series? If so, what do you think? We watched the first one. My daughter right now, my oldest, is obsessed with two things: Stranger Things, and Five Nights at Freddy.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
She's obsessed. She's obsessed with the books, the games, the movie, and Percy Jackson. She's gone to Percy Jackson camp the last 2 years. She was so excited for this series, but all she wants to do is watch. We watched episode 1 of Stranger Things season 4 last night. She has not watched episode 2 of Percy Jackson. I even said to her, she got mad at me because I said, are you not as into Percy Jackson? She's like, yeah, I'm still into it, but I just don't want to watch it right now. I'm like, take it easy. but no, I saw episode 1 and it was good. Did you watch it yet?
Yes, it's not good. So it's not for me.
Oh, you didn't like the first one?
I didn't. I don't think. I think they filled it with really great actors to play the gods.
Yeah.
But I think the young kids are just not as strong.
Oh, what about the main kid?
Yeah, the kid from Adam Project.
You didn't like him? Oh, all right.
Yeah, just kind of.
Met Bull is back. I think I'm less than a casual fan now, so I haven't seen any of the Oscar movies. 10 years ago, I saw them all. I want to get back into it, but I think good writing has moved to TV. John Wick 4 broke me. Broke you in a way that like it's not good. Like it's very video game-ish. I enjoyed it though. But as far as 10 years, as far as writing goes, I can't disagree that a lot of great writing has shifted to TV. I mean, that's definitely true, but there's some really good writing this year. Again, I'd recommend Anatomy for a Fall.
Yeah.
Really good movie. Godzilla -1 is I have to. The Godzilla -1 is one of my favorite movies in the last like 10 years.
Yeah.
So that movie, yeah, Air, if you haven't seen Air,
Air's
great
great
movie.
Holdovers is great writing.
Holdovers is great writing. Poor Things is not for everybody.
Right.
Poor Things is not for everybody, but it's certainly a really well written movie. And I loved how Yorgos geeked out about Bruce Springsteen. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was surprising.
That was awesome. Matt Bull, there's a good 1 hour and 45 movie in John Wick 4. I see what he's saying. It goes on for a bit. I didn't mind it because it was the final one, but I understand the criticism for sure. And then Mike Joyce. If you liked John Wick 4, check out Sisu. You love that, John?
Sisu is a great. I love revenge movies, and I love foreign revenge movies even more because there's less of a restriction on those movies and the violence. So to me, I get so much out of these vengeance movies, revenge movies. So Sisu worked so well. I would highly recommend it too, Christian.
Wayne Edwards. Good morning, gents. Have you either seen Leave the World Behind? I guess he came in late. It's pretty scary due to how possible it is, and Obama produced it. What the bleep? So Wayne, we talked. There was an earlier super chat that actually came in about that. I think that and just to reiterate real quick, I think that the actual premise of the movie, it was good. I thought they had delivered on a bunch of things up top. I didn't like the way that it ended. It was scary as far as what could potentially happen and how they did it. I thought this thing with a boat was really great. The dancing scene in the very end was a little like, what the hell just happened? So, and John felt the same. John felt more so. He just disliked it. I just thought it was kind of,
I think his Julia Roberts love carried him through.
It's probably 100% accurate.
Yeah,
it's probably 100% accurate.
I'm not as in love with her as you are.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, really the only celebrity that I've lost the will to speak when I met her. It was weird. It's like Bubble Perry's like, just take the picture, you moron, and that was it. I think that's it.
Okay.
I think that's it. I think we got everything. Unless we're wrapping up and somebody else put something else in there, but for the most part, we are good. So thank you guys for joining us here today on the episode. We covered a bunch, and thanks for everybody who joined us watching live. Thanks to everybody who's watching on the replay. Make sure you check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But John, once again, tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, you can always find me. Sorry, y'all. You can always find me at The Roca Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. I'll be doing more Twitch stuff now that I got the Slim PS5 coming in here, so I'll be doing that. So follow me there. But also my big channel, The Roca Says. They're at youtube.com/John Roca Says. Go and take a look at it. The Outlaw Nation there. We got the Hot Mic. We got the Jedi Way. We've got the Geek Buddies and my reviews and reactions to things going on in the world. And, of course, my podcasts, the Geek Buddies and the Cinephiles and the Hot Mic that are all out there for you all to download and enjoy. So thanks very much, Kristen, for having me on again on this Monday. I love it.
Yeah, of course. So we'll be back here again, guys. We're doing live episodes with John and myself on Mondays. Tuesday, you'll be back tomorrow with UAP Tuesday, myself, Riley, and special guest Pavel, who does tons of great interviews inside the UAP community. But we're going to be talking about a lot of things, how consciousness plays into it, what that Miami alien was all about. And then the other one was the new skiff. They're going to get into a skiff, and they're going to find out information. Is it going to lead to anything? We'll find out. Wednesday, I'm going to have Mike and Steph on. Thursday, I'm pretty sure, is going to be the Sean Chandler show, and then we'll have Roxy and Brett back next week, and then Friday's Capes and Cowls. So make sure you check us out. I have out of the theater reactions this week for both the Beekeeper and Mean Girls musical, most anticipated list, all that and more. Make sure if you're brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I will be doing that 100,000 thank you subscribe video. I know that it's a little late, but I still want to do one. So that'll probably be coming out as well. But yeah, if you have any questions, anything you want to talk about, leave them in the comments. As I mentioned, please, first of all, I'm going to really throw it towards Trade Coffee. I'm really going to throw it towards Trade Coffee here. Do me a favor. If you like coffee, get this. I want them to come back. I love them. And I really hope that they come back. And I want them to be shocked. I want them to go, what the hell happened today? We got like 15 people signed up today. 20 people signed up today. Sign up to Trade Coffee. You will not be disappointed. I promise you. All right. Thanks for joining us on the show. Really appreciate it. Thanks to John Roca. Thanks to all you guys here. Everybody who put in the comments in general, anybody who put in the super chat, anybody who got one of our sponsors, any of the support that you show us. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you. and we shall see you next time.